All right. Got, we're going to have a great conversation today. And for everyone that watches this and tunes in, of course, no introduction needed. We got the Harley on that side. I'm on this side, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, what a great day we're going to have today. We got to get right into it. And so Harley was invited to get chauffeured around all of Michigan. And anyway, I'm so excited to hear some of the places you went to, who you've seen, what you've seen, and how it all was on this fantastic journey. So anyway, you got a giant pumpkin patch tour all over Michigan. And from what I understand, you got picked up, I mean, wined and dined, driven all over, going to all these different patches. And I bet that was fun to meet the people, see the patches, and I'm sure they had a ton of questions for you. But I can't imagine the excitement when you pulled up into their patch. I'm sure some of their reactions were just, you knocked it out of the park by doing that. That's very kind of you, but I want to hear some of these stories or what you've seen. Yeah, I can't wait to hear you talk. So I just give you the floor on this one, man.
Okay, just to recap, right, on Saturday, I went on a patch, they called a patch tour with the Michigan giant pumpkin growers. A young couple that know me really well from my videos, been watching our podcast too. They picked me up at my doorstep, took me all over, and brought me back. Left at 7:45, and we got home at 9 o'clock at night. Driving all over the state, we visited 3 different patches, and we got to talk science the whole way too. This young couple was really, they were very interested in the plant science. They want to do a few experiments, and so I think I might have made some new friends too.
Oh man, and you love to talk about that stuff, and what a treat for everybody, all day to do that. So that sounds terrific.
Yeah, and some of these pumpkin growers have, they know me from some of the past work that we've done. So a lot of the YouTube videos, they know me really well, and some of the very best growers are applying what they've learned, and that to me is the greatest thank you in the world. That pays me off when someone applies what they learned from us and get the results. That's the way to say thank you. The proof is in the pudding,
Mm-hmm.
you
Oh,
know,
sure.
and
Exactly.
I apply everything. I do it the things that I've learned from you, and I just got a new record in Wisconsin. The grower that knows us so well, he knows you too, of course. He did a pumpkin that was over 2,500 pounds last year, and he told me now he's on track to do an even bigger one this year.
Mm-hmm. All
And
right.
one of the secrets that he did, and what some of the other ones that are, these Master Gardener Award type things, they're applying what they've learned, especially the amino acids. It seems like, they're getting that these vines, the vascular systems are really strong. They look like ropes, and it's just transporting water and nutrients to the fruit. One long main vine with one fruit on it, and then they have all the secondary vines coming off, and then they bury some of them, not all of them, but some of them bury the vine, especially the main one for sure, at all of the nodes. And then also they bury the vines at the nodes on the secondaries or even the tertiaries vines. And then those get more
Yeah.
roots, develop more roots, so the plant has more surface area to take up water and nutrients.
Oh yeah.
So they're at this stage in the summer, here in August, they're putting on like 50 pounds per day. 50 pounds a day in growth of that pumpkin. And they're
Exciting.
giant. They're giant pumpkins. I've got some pictures if you want to see any of them, but they're fertigating. Some of them are having some small problems, and I think we and I talked about before. they tend to want to push it to the extreme. They're extremists, and maybe they're over fertilizing. So one person sent me a picture this week that of a yellow leaf with intervenoclerosis, try to figure out what's wrong. And in the end, we could. I said, without a leaf test, you're not going to know for sure. But rule of thumb, the best thing to do if you don't know if it's a toxicity, you don't know if it's a deficiency, back off. Do it the way the Amish do it. Go to more minimal inputs for a while, take some of the stress off the plant, and then follow up with a mild to medium nutrient until until you really know what the deficiency is, and then you can spoon feed the corrected. So those kinds of things are happening. Um, and I'm seeing that a lot of them here in Michigan are really pushing potassium, and some of them are getting some manganese deficiencies. And I don't really know why, but I just did the tour. I'm just there to learn, and I've never seen it before. Pumpkins that big,
Yeah.
and giant tomatoes too. Other things. So it was a really really great trip. I was a kind of a celebrity. You're right there when they did the
Oh
final
yeah, I
drawing
remember.
for the main prize in the raffle. They called Harley Smith up. Harley, would you come up here and make the final drawing? You know, so I felt kind of honored. It was an honor to
No,
go,
that's good.
and there were kindred spirits, and I think I'm gonna make some new friends.
Oh yeah, good people, absolutely, good people, kind, and I love that community how they're so willing to share information too. A lot of
Hmm.
time in the agriculture world, you keep these little things under hat and you want to get one up, but they're really open on their practices and what they use, and I guess to a point, but more open than other type farmers or gardeners, especially in that arena. But how many stops do you think you made on the tour?
Just three, because there
Okay.
was a long distance between, and we were all over the state. Went to three of them, and the last one was that we went to had the was the best grower. He just won some kind of a really prestigious award, kind of a world class type award, and he was really thrilled to see me because he didn't know I was coming when I came
That's
through.
great.
I was one of the last ones to leave with the couple, so we had a lot of talks together. Um, but it was beautiful, the way not just that they're using the science, that means a lot to me, but just how clean and organized their gardens are. I mean, it's beautiful, literally a beautiful. It's beautiful to see how well that how much work they're putting into it, but how well they're maintaining these gardens, these patches.
Yeah, I relate it to it's another family member in your house. I mean, you know, it's like they're a baby. Like you just had a baby. Their patches are that. They're fully committed time. And the effort. It's really neat to see the commitment that goes into that, and and it's phenomenal. I just wanted to address one of the things you touched on lately about this yellowing leaf that you
Mm.
get a picture of. We get calls and emails and pictures of that all the time. Okay, all the time, and just like yourself, it's hard to just say, "Oh, you have this," or "Oh, you have that," unless it's so blatantly evident. But most of the time, it's not.
Mhm.
And one thing that we've seen with some of these growers that really push and push and push is a lot of the times they're not dealing with a deficiency. What we've seen, they're dealing with an excess of something else that's causing minimal uptake on some mineral or some nutrient. And human nature is to just keep putting more on, put more on, put more on, and that actually is turns you into a moron. We try to put
Right.
more on, more on, more on. So back to your theory, it's backing off. Let's try to figure out where you're at, what excesses you have, and what's low, and get some things back into balance. The majority of the time on these the extreme gardeners, it has been an excess of something in some
Hmm.
sort. So, yeah, we're right there with you. The more information you have to make a detailed decision is great, but a lot of these, I guess, well experienced gardeners have a lot of this stuff figured out. And let me tell you, when they learn something, they never forget it. And again, it's so good that they're willing to share that information. Just a lot of fun to be a part of them and to talk to them and work with them and hear the stories and just knowing the effort that goes into that. Just, I mean, they're masters at their craft. It's a beautiful thing to see. I love it
Yeah,
personally.
yeah,
It's awesome. So I'm glad they did that for you.
yeah, that's great. And you talked about the competitive spirit. The way I look at it, and I have even talked to them about it, they're not competing against each other. They're competing
Hmm.
with each other. And that makes all the
Good point.
difference. And they
Oh yeah.
want to share, what are you doing? What did you do? Because they're proud. Everybody has their point of view. You know what I mean? It's not, although if somebody like wins the prize, then a lot of the other ones will start to try to follow what they did. So there is that following thing. But no, they share information with each other quite freely, and for the common good, and they just keep doing better and better every year. Um,
Hmm.
like you were saying about the yellow leaf, though, I did a long time ago. I wrote an article for Maximum Yield magazine. They're not publishing anymore, which is kind of a shame because I like that magazine. But it was called "Why Are My Leaves Turning Yellow?" And and again, uh, if you get intervenal chlorosis in the old leaves, it's probably that one's kind of easy. Is probably a magnesium deficiency. But if I see that, I have to still be detective. I can be not 100% sure, but pretty sure the older leaves, because the mobile element, plants will take out the magnesium from the low leaves, send it to the top leaves where it's needed the most. Okay. On the other hand, a potassium toxicity will show up as a magnesium deficiency. Okay. So one of my first questions, what part of the plant is it? Is it the old leaves or the new leaves? And if it's the old leaves, what stage of development are you in? And if it's into heavier fruit and flower production, then I'll ask them, are you using a PK boost by any chance? Oh yeah, we're adding this and we're adding this and we're adding that. You know, oh no, you're adding 5 times the potassium the plant needs. Say, okay, here's my advice. Back off, back down on your PK boost. Back down on the potassium, and that way the cations will start to balance each other, and they'll start to green up. And in the meantime, because it's going to take the plant time to do that, make the adjustment, just do a light foliar spray with magnesium sulfate with Epsom salts, and they'll green up in a few days. So yeah, that's an easy one. But if it's intervenal chlorosis in the new leaves, top leaves, not so easy because it could be. The usual subject is an iron deficiency, but it could be iron, it could be copper, it could be manganese or zinc. They all kind of show the intervenal chlorosis is sort of the same way. So without the leaf analysis, you're not going to know for sure on those. But if it's an iron
Hmm.
deficiency or any of those transition metals, iron, copper, manganese, zinc. First thing to do there before you just start adding more iron, which probably won't do any good, it'll just lock up in the soil, is to get your pH. Make sure your pH is in the right zone. Because if the pH is too high, it'll show those symptoms. So it isn't just give it more magnesium, give it more potassium, give it more iron. It's get the system working efficiently so that
Hmm.
those minerals are available in an available form and that the plant's able to use them in an efficient way as well. The plant itself is able to use them. So the plant can take them up and process them. So,
Yeah.
and then it may not be any of the above. It might not be a problem at all. It could just be that that's the stage of growth. They're starting to yellow out because they're getting toward the end of they're they're sending out their stored nutrients to the fruit, or sending it back to the soil for next year. It's just normal part of aging. Or it could be a virus that's causing the problem, or it could be a root
Hmm.
dieback that's causing. So how do you answer it? You can't without
Yeah.
playing detective and getting the whole try to get the whole big picture.
Yeah. And even sometimes if it's a very low lying leaf, it could be, blocked from the sunlight too. I
Yeah,
mean, it,
yeah,
you know,
sure.
that's common as well. So yeah, there's a lot of things involved there. And, and going back to this trend of the nutrients, we have customers that say, hey, will you take a look at my soil test? They email it over and I look at their soil test. I'm like, oh man, I wish our farm soils could be this unbelievably good, right? They've got this thing dialed in, and I'm so impressed because when I look at things, I have a larger scale view, more of the ag farm type community. And I'm like, boy, if we could get some of our soils to look like this out in the field, 1,000 acres of soil that look like this, probably cost $1 million. It's so incredible their base starting point, and the plants respond to that too. God, they get them going and stick them in the soil and cover them up and make that environment, and these plants just take off because that's they're full onion on the soil, man. It's just ready to go. That engine is just revving, and boy, you put some roots in the ground and it just takes off. Neat thing to see. I love their soil tests. Every time it just makes me smile. Like, yeah, they've done their homework. They do the work. Now a lot of them are cover cropping and turning that organic matter back in and nutrient cycling that way, and building really building soil. It's impressive to see, and so I'm really glad you took the time and were able to do this. Uh,
Mhm.
I know we'll talk about this again because it always comes up somehow, but that's neat. You were in the patches. That is that is great. I'm sure they took some pictures and they'll be floating around, in all the media sites, I'm sure. So, boy,
Yeah.
thanks to you and your service and for taking the time and your willingness to do that. Because yeah, you are a celebrity. The people that know. I mean, wow, what a shock. Have Harley Smith drive up to your house. So good job. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yeah. I'm retired now, and I figure now's a chance in my life to be more involved with growers and people. When I'm working full time, I don't really have a whole lot of time to answer emails, a whole lot of time to do a phone call just to talk to somebody. But now I can
Yeah.
if I want to. And I think
Hmm.
it's important. These are my people. You guys out there that are watching our podcast, you're our
Yeah.
people. You're one of us. And I do want to keep in touch with you. I want to know what your problems are, and I want to share your successes because that makes me feel like my life has been well spent when I talk to people like you guys out there. And to
Right.
you, we're
Exactly.
going to talk to you because we've
Yeah.
been on the same wavelength for many years. Very complementary um,
Yeah.
skills, skill sets, and knowledge
Yeah.
sets.
Decades. Yeah.
Yeah.
For decades. That's crazy to think. Yeah, that's pretty neat. That is pretty neat. Well, um, that was exciting stuff to talk about. Probably not the most educational or sharing of information that we usually do, but hey, this is a lot of fun. And to see people practicing what they learned from you, and even have taken your class and applying that to their everyday thought process in gardening,
Hmm.
that's how you change things. I always say one farm at a time, but really it's one garden at a time, one person at a time. That's that's how we get the ball rolling and thinking about how we can grow better. So as long as we're all thinking that and trying to go down that path and learn, and using common sense examples, which you've provided a lot of information about. Who knows? Who knows what the future is? Who knows how far we can push the needle? So
Hmm.
appreciate you taking the time and sharing all that.
Yeah, it kind of is inspiring too to see what these guys are doing. The best growers are doing. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'll grow a giant pumpkin next year for the fun of it. And then the other side of me says, you you saw the final results, but did you see how much work went into that physically? How much time and effort? I went, how much space you need, to just to do one pumpkin. Um, I might still do that, but I don't know. I've already been thinking, how could I do this hydroponically so I could save me all that digging and all that weeding, but haven't been able to come up with that exactly yet.
Hey, keep thinking about that. Yeah, this that would be neat to see.
Might be a
Absolutely.
way. Might be a way. I don't know. I'll have all winter to make those decisions. But one of the guys that picked me up, that young couple, they don't live far away from here. Just by a
Oh, good.
coincidence, there might be 20-minute drive from here. So,
Oh,
and they
good.
want to do some experiment. These guys are always wanting to experiment. So if I want to do some experiments, I can go over to their house and say, hey, let's try growing some mushrooms. Let's see if we can do something with the CO2 and the different stages of growth, whatever.
Yeah, make it happen. Make it happen.
Yeah. So anyway, we probably should wrap up here pretty quick. Um, Anything else that happened interesting this week you want to share from you?
It's harvest time for the grains in our area, and so we have a lot of stuff in the air. My allergies are really
Mm,
get to me this time of year at grain harvest, but we've had some good living water results on grains. Uh, both yield and quality, some really good quality. I learned a lot about testing the bricks in the grain as it's filling. I've never really done that before. And
mm,
so it fills
that's
with
new.
sugar, of course, and then it all turns to starch and then hardens up. But
And
there's
protein.
about a
Good
2 week
protein.
window. Yeah, there's about a 2 week window. You can do some really unique brick testing in the grain as it's filling. And
Mm,
so we've got some of that charted out. We can kind of take a look, compare it next year,
mm,
and so far that has equaled very good quality, especially on a lot of our barley fields, because this particular variety of barley that's we grow a lot around here is for the beer industry and the malting industry. So they like a little bit lower protein,
mm.
and
More
that's one
starch.
mistake that's one mistake that's always made in our barley is sometimes the protein's a little bit too high for the
Mm,
malting industry. So it's kind of a balance act in that crop, but we got a lot of good data. I can't wait to analyze it this fall and in the winter and keep kind of critiquing the program for that. So yeah, it's been a good week. Been a good week so far. I got a lot more data to uncover, and hopefully I'll be able to share all that in one of these
okay.
podcasts. Yeah,
Okay. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. This is
me too.
a good time of the
Me
year.
too.
Just life is abundant all around right now. The middle of the
That's
summer.
right. That's right. That's right. And I can't wait to taste some of that beer that we make with the bar.
I can't wait to taste some of the tomatoes coming out of the field toward the middle and end of August. There's just no substitute. I can grow some good ones indoors, but there's no substitute for a tomato grown in the middle and harvested in the middle of August under ideal conditions. It's just yum.
Mm-hmm.
Looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to it.
Yeah. Okay, Harley.
Okay.
Well, good. This was good chatting with you. Can't wait to do it again.
Okay. See you next week.
Okay, thank you. See you.